I think that's what's deflating Anfield is the resellers. A lot of people blame the tourists, but broadly it's not. It's the resellers. Tourists will sing "You'll Never Walk Alone" and they'll get involved with the chants. It's specifically on nights like that because believe me, Anfield's hostile.
Yeah, you mentioned Anfield, and I was lucky to be at the Lille match. I think it was match day 7 of the Champions League. And I thought, I went with a devout Liverpool friend of mine, and he, he's borderline got a tear in the eye at "You'll Never Walk Alone," and I enjoyed it a lot. It was it was a cultural experience. But I was interested this week that Clive Tyldesley, he wrote on Substack that he thinks that Anfield, like all grounds, have changed. And you maybe just motion towards this where there's some expectation from crowds now that the team will get them up, and it's maybe a little less symbiotic than it once was. But do you think there's truth to that? Is the Anfield atmosphere, has it changed at all over the last decade or two? I'm curious what you think as somebody who goes regularly.
Well, not as regularly as I'd like, but I guess I can still speak to it, right? I've been at Anfield for really special nights. So I've been at Anfield early years when Klopp, we had the comeback against Dortmund in the Europa League. It was an incredible night. It's unforgettable. It's kind of like, it's the stuff that if you're a football fan, dreams are made of. I was there when we beat Man City 3-0 in the Champions League. Great night. And Anfield was a huge part of that. But the difference on a night like the PSG night is not so much in the actual crowd, the regulars. The regulars are always there. The regulars are regular for a reason. It's the fact that PSG fans and the ticket resellers had resold to a majority of PSG fans because they were just desperate to get into Anfield to either experience their team to win or just to see a bit of Liverpool, right? And I got to be honest, "You'll Never Walk Alone" is kind of a temperature, it's the thermometer for what the night's going to be like. It sets a tone. And we have a bit of a problem with "You'll Never Walk Alone" at the moment. Not serially. I think there are some very compelling renditions. But if you have a mixed crowd of, say even 20% of your crowd, which I'm not saying, there's not saying that high, even say it's 10%, suddenly you've got 10% of people in the stadium who would normally be Liverpool fans who aren't holding a scarf or a flag or whatever they want to hold up during the anthem. And you can look around the stadium and see it. I said to the two friends I was there with, this is not all Liverpool fans. You could see it even in our row. There are people openly, and the thing is, in the UEFA Champions League, right, their policy broadly is to throw out fans who are not part of that section. So it's kind of like, listen, if you're PSG, you're in that section. If not, you've got to leave. And it's pretty stringent from UEFA broadly. If they'd have done that night, I think Anfield loses about 10 to 15% of the fans that are in there from just mixed fans. And it deflates the atmosphere by that 10, 15%. And you still go, okay, right. But you just can't get chants going in the same way. You can't get that symbiosis as you're talking about. Because not that the team always need it, but I think, it obviously helps to go back to Anfield, especially as PSG is very hostile. And you can't get that same going because I'm there at half time. I'm going to go and buy a drink. I've got 5 PSG fans behind me. I've got 2 ahead of me.
Yeah.
And I'm there thinking, as friendly as we are, I don't want you here. You're not meant to be. It's nothing to do with them being foreign. It's to do with the fact they're specifically PSG fans. Tourists, I have no problem with. I've taken tourists to Anfield and they've loved it. I took a Manchester United fan a few weeks ago. He sang along. He was a lovely guy. He's one of my best friends. And I don't mind that. I just don't like if it's a bunch of PSG fans sitting in there going, well, this is no good for us. I don't like the fans. That's not going to be the vibe for me. I think that's what's deflating Anfield is the resellers. A lot of people blame the tourists, but broadly it's not. It's the resellers. Tourists will sing "You'll Never Walk Alone" and they'll get involved with the chants. It's specifically on nights like that because, believe me, Anfield's hostile. The other issue is the Champions League anthem or the Premier League anthem means that now we can't play "You'll Never Walk Alone" in the same timing that we want to. And it kind of means that it sort of peters out before the players come out. And before it was much more kind of like, imagine you're walking out the tunnel and you've got "You'll Never Walk Alone" playing. That's a big moment. Now it's sort of like, right, "You'll Never Walk Alone's finished. Okay, let's get into the Champions League anthem from UEFA." And that's just so it misses everything that's good about football for a bit of bureaucracy and some strings, which is a good anthem, but it's not for, it's not the same as You'll Never Walk Alone.
Yeah. Stephen Warnock came on the show once, and he said, he's a local lad who came up through the academy, represented the club. He said that was in the days when I guess he would walk out to You'll Never Walk Alone. And he said he was crying on the pitch the first time that he went out there, and I guess that's sort of no longer possible. There's that part, and then as you say, there's the mandatory stock anthem that I guess it does set a scene in a way, but it's not a Liverpool scene. It's a competition scene.
Well, it's also for the clubs that are more sort of down to kiss the ring if you want or whatever. Like, I went to the Paris game away and it was very compelling and I enjoy going away to other stadiums, but light shows kill it for me. I'm not a light show guy at football. I just think it's like, and obviously you speak to any of the corporates at any of the clubs who do light shows and they go, well, it's a tourist experience. This is entertainment. And you're sort of like, yeah, it's already entertaining though. The culture's good enough. Like, don't think you need a light show in order to show us that your club is compelling, right? And the same goes for PSG. There was like a 10-minute drumming session before the game set to lights. And then as that ends, the Champions League anthem starts. And I was like, okay, cool. But no grown man has ever walked away from a stadium and gone, hey, that light show, huh? Every real fan goes, oh, this, like, why are you doing this, guys? Like, what's up? And that's deflating as well. So I'm not a big light show guy. And I've got to admit, there are very few stadiums where it feels hostile pre-kickoff anymore. I've got to admit, Arsenal is very close to that because they play whatever that anthem's called. I don't know
North
what it's
London
called.
Forever.
North London Forever. Yeah, sorry. And that's their version of You'll Never Walk Alone. It's still a good song.
Yeah, I went to the Flatty before the game, the Flatiron pub, and I met a guy, Howard Williams. He's going to be in a little feature I'm writing about it.
Nice.
Where he's been going for 56 years. And I went to Anfield with my friend, one, because he's a big Liverpool fan, but also I want to see what Howard Williams has been seeing for all that time. I don't need the newfangled business, and
who cares?
That's been a big problem in the American presentation of the game, which has gotten a lot better, where there was a stage where they're stuffing Americans into commentary and stuff. It's a big problem in the World Cup, to be honest, when they show it here.
Yeah.
People want the best, and the best is what has been going on there. They want the culture and they want the feeling of it that they can't get here. I can go to a stadium here where you chant defense, that is very available to me.
Yeah, which is cool, right? Yeah. And that also, that's a very relevant thing to say if you're, I suppose maybe not at a Lakers game. I don't know how many of the Lakers defend. But, like, if you're at a Knicks game or something or whatever, that's very relevant. But if we were chanting defense or, I went to a Giants game and I've been to a couple of other NFL games in Europe, make noise. If you told the crowd, make noise or let's get loud, they'd just be like, no. Like, no one would do it. It just wouldn't happen. It's just so... It's nothing to do with being better than that. It's just so un-British to follow that kind of lead. It just doesn't work.
It's too, like, earnest in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's too blatant. It's too, like, there's no... Saying get loud, there's just no subtlety to it. And the British are more like, that's not the vibe, I guess.